Good day, everyone. I'm Rona G. Avila, the first reporter of Lesson 10 entitled Sex and Senses. Sex is all about the senses. That's why sex is the fraternal twin or sensual, which broadly refers to both options of gratifications of the senses. So these are the 5 kinds of senses, which correspond to our primary senses that we are to explore and experience the whole world around us. First, the eyes enable our senses of sight or visual, so that we are able to see visual stimuli, example, colors, size, shape in our environment. Second, the nose enables senses to smell or olfaction, so that we are able to experience scent. Third, our ears allow us senses of hearing or audition, so that we are able to experience the sounds. Examples are the tones, pitches, and the volume. Fourth is our tongue, so that we are able to experience the taste. Example, the saltness, sweetness, and bitterness. And lastly are the sensory reception in our skin, muscles, and joints, which allow us the sense of touch and feelings. These five senses comprise our sensorium. Sensorium define the totality of our sensory experience and perception, while we receive information of our environment through the senses. Our brain has the ability to organize and interpret these numerous stimuli in meaningful ideas that are useful of our choices or behaviors. These are the figure of limbic system. The limbic system is the set of structures in our brain that deal with the emotion and memory. These are the main functions of the limbic system. First, the hypothalamus, an area of the brain that produces hormones that control and helps keeps the body internal function in our balance. It helps regulate appetite, imbalance, and body temperature. It also involves emotion such as pleasure and rage. Second, amygdala, a collection of cells near the base of our brain, known as the part of the brain that drives that so-called fight or flight response. Third, hippocampus, a complex brain structure embedded deep in our temporal lobe. It controls emotion, memory, recalling, and regulation. And the last, thalamus, is a small structure within the brain located just above the brain stem. The primary function of the thalamus is to relay motor and sensory signals to cerebral cortex. Human affect and the sense. Affective primary hypothesis, or 1980, postulated that in many cases cognitive processory higher order think plays a lesser role compared to our emotional responses electricity, and behavior. These are the three primary emotional responses. First is fight. Responses when we face adverse or dangerous. Fight is an automatic physiological reaction of the event that is perceived as stressful or frightening, or the response that prepares the body to fight or flee. Second is flight. Response when we move away from the adverse or dangerous. Flight is a response to an acute threat or survival, including nervous and endocrine changes, act or need to retreat. Third is freeze. It's when we are startled and unable to make choices, thus are unable to move. Freeze. Sometimes the freeze is the response can also be used by times as you can calculate or the advantages and disadvantages. Your choices that you fight or fly. You fight or fly away from the scene. And that's all my report.
Sex and senses. Visual experience. Humans are predominantly visual. The societies highly rely on visual culture to co-create meaning and convey information. Ginagamit ng visual is mata to see the things in the surrounding, mga caution or mga signs sa surroundings. Tapos visual culture is an essential element of our society. Yes, it is really an essential element of our society because tara makita tong katong mga signs na nasa dalan, makakita siya visually. So in human sexuality, gender differences is visual stimuli and sexual arousal. So Rupp and Wallen found that men respond more on visual sexual stimuli and tend to be influenced by sex of the actors in the sexual scenario. So kibalik ni mga boys, mga men is mag-respond sila more on visual, just like kanang mga pornography sa balik mga sites nga mga visual siya. Then women were found to be more influenced by context, although they too are responsive to the sexual content of visual stimuli. So ang mga women is more on mga basa, just like sa Wattpad na mga context dito nga SPG. Though nag-respond gyapon sila sa visual kading sa mga video ng mga SPG. So women and men differ in strategies of viewing sexual stimuli. Women tend to pay more attention to contextual and non-sexual skew than men, and thus putting prime on subject valuing circumstances. Next is olfactory experience. All function in non-human animals, which are believed to be microscopic organism or organism having greater sense of smell, have an interest among psychologists since 1950s. So organism having a greater sense of smells are just like dogs. Di ba, mas great ang smell nila kaysa sa tao. So humans and apes are generally believed to be microscopic or lesser level of olfaction. When we say olfaction, it is a sense of smell compared to their non-ape counterparts. Humans have limited olfaction and limited sense of smell. Sense of smell may play an important part of our sexual response. So, Moscarella Arantes and Colgol 2011, it is a research, explored in the preferred scent among heterosexual and homosexual males and females. And in their research, the heterosexual females are more like the fluorescent smell and like the musky spicy scent for their partners. The heterosexual males and homosexual females are more to tend like they like the musky spicy scent, and for their partner they like a floral sweet scent. And for homosexual males, they tend to more like a musky spicy scent for themselves and for their partner also. So how human function influence sexuality? First, through what is referred to as signature odor, the unique way that individual smells. Di ba, laylay man tag smells natay like uban sa tuwa signature order, like the signature order is a baho sa atong lawas, like uban nga kanang aslum napoy humot, so which is associated with the major histocompatibility complex, a set of proteins signaling our immune system in the presence of foreign substances. So number 2, through what is referred to as a pheromones. Pheromone substance putatively excreted by our glands which signals mood and affects the social behaviors. So, in early 1930s, akanang a entomologist Beth in 1932s, a hormone emitted towards the body is called ectohormones. So, McClintock effect or 1971 or menstrual synchrony, the observation that females in the same dormitory usually would have their menstruation on nearly the same time was thought to be due to pheromones. So naka-experience ko na kay kami sa balay is 5 mi kabae. So pag mag-menstruation na gali mi is magkuan gyud na siya kanang maghapit-hapit ra siya at the same time gyud na siya magsunod-sunod. So what the scientists think human pheromones do? It is thought to act as attractant to the opposite sex, repellent to the same sex, stabilizer for human-infant bond, a mother-infant bond rather, and modulator of menstrual cycle. So, some chemicals thought to be human hormones are, first is androstenedione, a testosterone-like substances found in a male's sweat, saliva, and urine. Estratrinol, an estrogen-like found in female urine, and iperolin, a substance found in human semen, pubic sweat, and smegma. So what is a tactile experience? Touch is observed to be an element of intimacy. Our body is covered in skin, often referred to as the largest bodily organ. So tactile is a sense of touch. In social interaction, particularly intimate one, touch holds meaning. Yes, it is. So there are elements of touch. First is tactile element. Tactile element pertains to the experience relative to the object being felt. It is rough, is it smooth, or is the surface hard or soft? So that is a tactile element. Pagkuan sa kanang sa rough, sa smooth, sa butang. So the thermal element are, is it warm or cold? Nagkuan siya sa touch sa element is sa to feel through temperature. So vibrational element. Is the pressure of the touch strong or weak? Is the sensation moving and pulsating or steady and stationary? So, vibrational is kuan kaning ang pressure is the pressure we touch, is it strong or weak? Or kanang sensation is nag-moving ba siya o steady lang ba siya? So, mo na siyang element. So, different part of human body also have different threshold of tactile experience. So, there are this primary erogenous zones. The primary erogenous zones, areas such as mouth, anus, genital, and nipples, they are very sensitive to touch. So, wala siyang primary kay sensitive di siya i-touch na sila nga mga part. So, secondary erogenous zone are back, cheek, neck, and buttocks. They are also sensitive to touch, but only supported of the primary zones in eliciting response. So, sa back, examples is sa back, they are sensitive to touch, but only supported by the primary zone. So, human touch is essential in social bonds. Just like kaning mag-embrace ta sa strangers is also a social maka-social bond ta. When we touch, our body produces a hormone called oxytocin. It is referred to as the love hormone because it is believed to influence tribal behaviors and maternal bonding. And in intimate relationship, touch is suggested to be one of the love languages. It is very true. So next is auditory experiences. Social interaction are not only visual but also auditory experience. Our human language often have verbal counterpart to the written language. Sexual activities are also a verbal language process. Sounds give additional context to sexual situation. Auditory is mga tingog. Just like I love you, I miss you. This is for sexual activities. Also verb for kani sa mga intimate relationship for sexual activities. The verbal language process is just like example kaning mga alam na nga mga kuan mga tingog. So that would be all. Thank you.